Okay, we'll go ahead and get this meeting called to order. Today is Thursday, November 18th, and it is 6 p.m. at the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission. First off, we of course have our call to order. That being said, next is the approval of the minutes. Secretary Spencer here sent those out, and they're in your packet here to review. Are there any changes need to be made or a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
I have two. Could we get a list under the public comment where President Garrett, where you swore in the new members, could we get a list of who those members are and what they're representing, listed in our minutes? And then the other spot, under news business, it says the employees of the park will, and that's it, the sentence ends. Under where? New business? They will what? I understood. Those are my only two things.
We will.
Okay.
Okay. I'll get that correct.
So with those two corrections in mind, I'll give you a list of the rest of these.
Okay.
With those two corrections, is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, the motion is on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those against? The motion does carry. Up next, two quick things. We have a few remaining board members that need to be sworn in from the previous meeting. I'm going to keep them because I don't remember what I'll say, but then I'll let you all sign them. So if Joey Myers, Aaron Bell, Tim Lewis, and well, Gary Roberts isn't here, if you three wouldn't mind to stand. And raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of West Virginia, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Park and Recreation Commissioner to the best of your skills and judgment, so help you God? I do. If you all don't mind to sign those and bring those back to me, those will just need to be recorded with the county clerk. We'll make Gary do it by himself here in a minute. He's a few minutes late. That being said, we want to have an introduction. Yesterday, the County Commission employed Mrs. Sally Stover, a former manager of this park, to come back as a County Commission employed manager for the park. We believe that Sally has good experience, and with bringing her back in this new role, that we can hit the ground running and really make some of the updates that I think we're all here to truly see this park have to improve and make things better. So, Sally, welcome.
Thank you.
Any questions or anything you'd like to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. She's had the job since about 9:30 this morning, so we'll have to forgive her. But yeah, the commission's excited to have you, and hopefully, we can get a lot of things done moving forward.
What is her job? I mean, what's going to be hers or his too?
Well,
He's going to be the working one, or?
right. She'll be the oversight and the grants and the paperwork and the payroll and stuff like that. And James will be the manager of the grounds and facilities. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Then that way we have double management throughout the park and hopefully quadruple the good results.
Great.
Right. That being said, we're up to our public comment period. We do have with us Mr. Joe Sanson. So Joe, if you'd like to address the Park Commission.
Yeah, I had a couple concerns. One, bring my family here a lot. My daughter, she plays softball here, and I've noticed that there's no cameras, like as far as security, and a lot of parks are going with cameras all throughout, and they're also doing Wi-Fi. I have a company that I would love the opportunity to be able to go through and see what you guys would like, if it's something that you'd be interested in, and get you an estimate, and also the care of the grounds. We've got a couple baseball fields out here. I also have a landscaping and lawn care company, and I believe I could make it look a lot better. Not that it looks terrible or anything, but me as a business owner, like when I'm doing that, it reflects on me and my business. So I want to make it look great. You know, I want to do things like stripe the field, make the grass look greener, overseed, and that way you have more real grass instead of like crabgrass and random scraggly things like that. But just an overall opportunity to be able to improve the appearance and the security of what goes on. And, you know, how cool would it be for Summersville to have their baseball field striped, have Wi-Fi all over their park, and everybody be able to have access to that. And also, we have excellent cameras. They're as good as any that I've seen. We also have human detection on those cameras, so that if anybody was around loitering when they shouldn't be, it'll zoom in on all of them around, send alerts to whatever management's phones that you had to take care of it. They could call the police immediately and say, hey, I've got, you know, a suspected homeless vagrant camping out in a dugout, or, you know, it looks like there's a drug deal going down here. Because there's been several instances where, you know, I'll come down here with my daughter in the evenings, and there'll be obvious drug deals happening and things like that. And a little bit of security could prevent a whole lot of that. And two, how many other people have Wi-Fi all throughout their park, and readily the ability to use it. A lot of working parents come in, you know, with COVID and different things that have happened with the advance of technology. A lot of people work from home. A lot of people are working when they're at their kids' games, at their soccer game, at their softball game, at their football game. You know, it gives them the opportunity to participate more in the life of their child, rather than be tied up at work and say, hey, I would love to come, but, you know, I can't get my hotspot to work on my phone, or for the internet, or, you know, the various other things that could come up. And it's like, hey, there's an opportunity for us to be able to enrich the family life here.
Any questions?
No, the only comment I have is that as far as the looks and appearance of the field, we are planning to change that drastically.
Okay.
For the good. Now, as far as the grass and stuff goes,
Yeah.
you know, we're not too much into grass and stuff, but we have some things in the works, and that's one reason why I'm here this evening. But, you know, of course, that's up to the park.
Are you gonna give us a estimate, or?
Well, with the fluctuating prices on things like fertilizer and things like that, overseeding, due to the pandemic and many other things, like I would like to wait till a closer season time to give you an exact dollar amount. Your mowing and weed eating and maintenance like that, it's pretty straightforward. It's, you know, probably be about $1,000, because there's a lot of property, and we're talking about pristine. It would be stripes, it would be very well kept, not just ordinary. I would intend to make the golf course jealous.
So maybe in the months of February or March, maybe we just need to regroup and see if you could bring us an actual proposal, like.
Yeah, and I could get one together sooner. It's just that the prices may fluctuate between now and
Right.
February.
Oh,
But
that's
I can get you something ballpark.
Now, are you talking about the grass on the ball fields too?
Yeah,
$1,000.
yeah. That would be weed eating,
You know, a 10-day cycle or 15-day cycle?
10-day cycle.
That's 2 in April, 3 for the rest of the month, 2 in October.
Yep, or longer if it's needed, weather permitting.
How many cameras are you?
Well, that's something that we could go over together. We'd just walk the park and see what all coverage that you would like. You know, it's best to work directly with an employee to see where you guys have the most problems. I would put several at the pool, given that it's high liability. Several around the ball fields. I'd recommend them in dugouts. And it protects everybody. You know, I would, at the front entrance, I would do a license plate camera so that people in and out, you would know who was in and out. Say worst case scenario, a child got abducted. Well, you would have video footage of that kid getting abducted. And then you would also know the exact license plate, make, model of the car. All you have to do is pull up your phone and go through it and find the event and find the license plate. Boom, they're on Amber Alert. Cops are sent out, and you have a lot better chance of recovering a child or reconciling any event in that case.
Are you allowed to do that in dugouts and things like that? Cameras?
I don't see why not.
Well, I
haven't had
know,
any-
but-
Yeah, we haven't had any issues with it before. We've taken care of Rand. That was one of our most recent projects. They have cameras now. Of course, Rand is a rough area, but security, just it being in place, just the threat of repercussions if you're up to something that's not good will usually prevent most crime.
Do you have like a business card or something you can
Yeah.
leave with the secretary? Yeah. If you don't mind, we'll take that under, we'll take it under advisement. Discuss that, because of course, public comment, you know, we can't really respond too much. We can ask questions and stuff, but then we can definitely get back with you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, we appreciate your comment.
Thank you.
Up next, we have the financial report.
Beginning balance of the pool account was $7,027.38. No deposits. Expenses, $664.22, making the current balance as of October 31st, $6,363.16. Park account beginning balance was $39,212.20. Total deposits, $19,749.13. Total expenses of $9,036.68, making a current balance as of October 31st, $49,924.65.
Okay, is there a motion to approve those finances as presented?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion and the second are on the floor. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against? The motion does carry. Committee reports. I'd like to establish some committees if we can here tonight, just to, now that we're, going on further and further and getting our game plan together. First up, of course, we have the one vacancy in employment. We need to discuss that here in just a minute again, but so we'll need to have a hiring committee. And what I'd like to do is appoint myself, Ms. Jennifer Kaufman, and Mr. Gary Roberts to that committee. I'd like to have a pool committee. I think that that's a valuable resource that needs its own attention. And on that committee, I'd like for, again, myself, Mary Spencer, and Mr. Tim Lewis. Is that okay with you, Tim? Okay. On the rates committee, the rates have not been updated since 2018. What I'd like to do on that committee is myself, Terry Shamblin, Aaron Bell, and Eugene Underwood to overview the rates and all of the costs and fees. And I'll give you this too to help you on that if you'd like. Yeah, I know I'm going kind of fast for you, writing it all down. And then also calling it an ethics committee, but it's really just a lot of our forms are outdated. The employee manual needs to be clarified on a few things. There's a lot of reference to county employees, which of course this would be park employees. We just need to clarify some of the things in the employee manual. And what I'd like to do on that is myself, Miss Amy Walker, and Miss Jennifer Kaufman on those committees. I want to essentially have a steering committee because we really need to step back and see what we need to do to prepare the park for 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, and so forth. But I'd just like for that to be the entire board, because we've all got, I think, equal interest in just, what all needs to happen to make this place sustain itself.
What's the name of that committee?
Steering. That's everybody. And I'll give you that complete list.
Okay.
Up next, we have the manager's report.
Can I borrow somebody's real quick? I seem to shorten myself.
You got a lot going on there.
Actually, you know what? I have it written down right here. Sorry. Okay, so first off, the lights, they're not coming by as quickly as I'd like, but I'm still, now that we're, we have DRC coming just about every single day, and they've been a huge help. So I still believe that we'll be able to make the deadline for the Christmas decorations and get the booth moved up front.
That deadline being?
The end of November.
Okay, December 1st.
And I spoke with Frank today, and I asked him if he was quitting, what his intentions were as far as his employment here.
Let's talk about that here in a minute, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, sure.
We'll regroup on that.
Pool winterization is nearly complete. The only thing we really have left to do is just to lower the water level a bit more and take the ladders out. Spoke to Jack Lanham, aka Santa, today, and he told me that he would be available to be Santa for us on December 4th. That's a Saturday. And he was also explaining that the city and the armory are having COVID, restrictions, mainly just making sure everybody's maintaining a proper distance and stuff like that. And no children are allowed to sit on his lap. They'll have him roped off. They can come up, talk to Santa, and, tell him what they want and all that stuff. But as far as, they can still get pictures, he said, but it just won't be like them sitting on his lap like a normal, Santa picture with your kids.
Is that a preference of his, or
Excuse me?
is that his preference? Is that he's?
Well, he said that, he did say that he would like it to, to have some sort of restriction like that, just because he doesn't have any, coverage in case, somebody gets COVID from him, or, worse
And
case.
actually, what the city of Summersville is doing is they bought a sled that will be under the pavilion. I don't know the date and time, but, and then so the children will stand out in front of the sled. And so what I had mentioned to James, what we might even consider if we could get some of the equine folks to bring a buggy, kind of like a nice looking buggy without the horse, obviously, but, the kids could stand out in front of it. It'd be a little bit different, not, be another option on top of what the city's already doing.
I spoke
So-
to the Equine Association, and they're going to bring us a buggy on the 4th for him to set in.
Good deal.
We can rope it off. If it's raining or snowing, we can put them in the pole barn.
Right. Yeah, we actually discussed that today.
Yeah, and there's room that
Right.
everybody can, we just put him in the center of the barn, and keep him roped off and keep everybody safe. They will be bringing their wagons and doing wagon rides on the first,
Yeah.
or for the first 3 Saturdays in the month of December, which would be the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th.
You got times on that?
No, we need to set a time. What time do we want? Are we going to have Santa here? What time do we want the wagon rides?
He said either, it's really whatever we want. He was talking about either 5 to 7 or 6 to 8, whatever 2-hour block would work for us better.
Sally, what do we do it before?
6 to 8.
6 to 8?
That sounds good. Santa, 6 to 8.
And that's on December 4th.
Yes. What do we want to do the wagon rides on the nights that Santa's not here? 6 to 8?
Yeah. They usually run longer, but.
At least start at 6.
8. Yeah.
Is there any objection to that?
about a week and a half ago, I was just doing routine checks around the buildings and whatnot, just making sure there's no leaks or anything like that. I came in here, and it sounded like there was a toilet running back here in one of the bathrooms. So I went back there, checked every toilet, not a single one of them running. Finally, I put my ear up against the wall back there, and I could hear it coming through the wall. So I went out the back door, went into the storage closet out there where the hot water heater is. And the flex line that feeds hot water into the building was fractured. And upon closer inspection, I saw a footprint on top of the water heater. And there's insulation torn down inside there, which it's still like that. But I wanted to leave it down because I wanted to get up there to see, God forbid, a drug addict or something get in there and stash drugs or weapons or who knows. I tried myself. It is super easy to break into that room. I used my knife, just popped it right up, and didn't take me hardly any effort to do. I was going to circle around back to security. I was going to see if there might be any way we could get some security cameras, because this isn't the first instance of something like this happening. Last year, we had somebody break into the fair office and just straight up kick through. It looked like somebody kicked right through one of the doors in there. We put up, new locks and everything, but there's still plenty of other doors around the park that could, benefit from updated security measures. This time last year, we had 2 vehicles, broad daylight. One of them was a Lincoln Navigator, busted out the window in there and stole some stuff out of it. And then there's a brand new Toyota truck sitting here at this ball field right here, parked right here. And in broad daylight, family was right there. Somebody came through and just, stole a woman's purse out of the truck. And
When did that happen?
that was this time last year, before Thanksgiving. The only reason I found out about it was because me, my brother, and my dad were working on some things down at the garage, and the state trooper came down here and made me aware of what was going on. I didn't get any statements from the Lincoln Navigator driver. They took off before I had a chance to, but I did speak to the truck owner, and the way, we all know how new vehicles are, with the key fobs. You're close to your vehicle. If the key's close to the vehicle will be unlocked automatically. And the man didn't know that his wife had the extra key in her purse, and then whoever broke into their truck stole her purse, which had their, address, key, so they could just drive up to that person's house and steal their truck. But let's see, had some people, some kids break into the pool over the summer. What else? A lot of high school kids, mainly high school kids, speeding through the park, going to football practice or whatnot. It's just, we could definitely benefit from having some sort of camera network to where we could monitor things in case something happens, if one of these kids run another kid over, or we can have evidence of that, or for instance, the people who do donuts over there at the football parking lot. And that is pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you.
I'll look at some strike plate covers. You get strike plate covers to offset and cover that gap where you can't, Jimmy.
Right, yeah.
Little small
right.
things, yeah. They'll just offset so you can, it makes it hard to get in. You know, just
Right.
leave it down.
So, you're right.
Takes the convenience away.
Yeah, that'd probably be the cheapest and most effective solution.
Quickest. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Up next, we have unfinished business. Want to make just the board aware, the United Bank transfer over is in the works. It's not quite ready yet, so we're still banking on the previous bank, but that will probably happen before the next board meeting. And then also, excluding Little League, because we got a lot to talk about here tonight. If any of the other representatives, like we talked about, had come up with some recommendations or needs that you all think we need to be addressing in trying to improve the park. And I know we have a list here from 4-H, so Amy, if you'd like to start there.
Sure. So back in, I believe it was August, I have any of our board members that want a copy of all of this. So we, WVU Extension Service Safety and Health up at WVU University, they contacted all of the, and you have one too, James. They contacted all of the 4-H camps that if they wanted to have a free audit done to check the camp for specifically electrical and ADA compliance. So we got that report back. So on the right side, that's the complete camp audit. They checked, and this was specifically for 4-H camp, so it was just the facilities that 4-H uses. So they didn't look at like the any of the baseball stuff or any of that kind of stuff. It was just the 4-H. But I kind of included everything under 4-H with the idea that at some point we probably would use it to be on the safe side. So the pole barn was included, the amphitheater, all that kind of stuff. So there's a summary report on the left-hand side, as well as behind that, from that, there is a document that through 4-H, these are things that I would like to see 4-H do a campaign fundraising for the park to be able to, and again, this is focusing on facilities that 4-H uses, but it of course benefits the park as well and anybody else that uses the park facilities. So specifically on like the 4-H building, fixing some of the ceiling panels, the exhaust fan in the kitchen went out this summer during the fair, getting things like that fixed. Just some other general repairs. I don't know if the showers are used in the 4-H building at all, ever.
Not to my knowledge, not this year.
So my thought was, over the fair, I noticed a lot of families coming in with younger kids needing to change diapers. So I wasn't sure if we had any other diaper changing facilities at the park, that would be a big asset to have. That if we took those shower units out and put changing tables in there, that would be an asset that we could advertise for like birthday parties and reunion. That would be another asset that would be able to be used in that 4-H building.
Back in that back corner, is that what you're talking about?
The 2 bathrooms that are in the 4-H building, yeah, on that.
Yeah, because they're not utilized for anything.
I didn't think so.
They're just obsolete.
Yeah, so if we pull those out, and then the thought is, I'd also like to get Craigsville Cottage back up and running, and my main reason for that is because with 4-H, when we use these grounds as 4-H, for 4-H camp, they're considered under WVU, they're considered a campus under WVU. So we have to follow all the guidelines under WVU. So one of that is it's a closed campus, which means that no one can come in without us knowing. So we have some problems in the past of that people like to walk the loop, but we're considered a closed campus and we can't have them coming into camp walking that loop. So everything, gate down is what the camp uses. Without having Craigsville Cottage, our oldest boys actually stay in Pine Lodge next to the pool, which just spells disaster because it's outside of our camping, gates, and it's right next to the pool. So if we get Craigsville back open, then I can move my boys back down there so that that's safer for them, that's safer for our facilities, it falls under our WVU extension guidelines. And plus, again, it gets the cottage back open to be able to use it for the
Yeah,
park.
because not just 4-H, I mean,
Exactly.
the fair would utilize it, Golly Fest would utilize
Yes.
it. Anybody that comes for whatever reason and wants to rent cabins, that's one more cabin we can rent.
Exactly. And so I wasn't sure, I know the bathroom area kind of needs to be remodeled in there as well. If those 2 shower units that we took out of the 4-H building could just then go over there.
Yep,
If that
across
would
the
be,
road.
yeah, just be able to do something like that.
Right.
The council circle, which I think mostly is used for 4-H, but there are other entities that may use it for the council, for the fire purposes. We need to make sure that it's safe. The new drainage that went in from draining the field down to where the council circle is, everybody uses that as their walkway now. But it has huge stones that slip and slide and it's dangerous. So I'd like to see if we can get an ADA compliant ramp down to the council circle. And there's also that kind of stage dock thing that's right there on the river. So that would make that more accessible as well, if we could get something there. So it was kind of dual purpose for both of those. And I wasn't with that one, I'd like to see if we can pull in the Career and Technical Center and maybe get the kids building that ramp.
Oh,
So
that
we'll
would-
see about that.
that would be
Which
great.
some of that funding that we could potentially save if we get their labor to come out and do that. The other thing is that the dining hall here, that of course we use with camp, I'm told that we rent freezers and fridges and a bunch of our cooking stuff because the facilities are not here to do that. So again, that would be something that I'd like to see if we can get that stuff here, if possible, so that then that also can be something that the park can utilize with their advertising of the facility.
Real quick on that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Sally and James, I forgot to mention too, Sally's first day is December 1st, but she's good enough to start showing up early. Sally and James, I'd like for you two, starting in the next month, to inventory this kitchen to see what's been, because see, the Summersville City Council has given a lot of grants towards this kitchen. And I mean, I'll just be honest with you, I don't even know what all's new, what's not new, whatever. So if you two could work on that so we get an honest opinion, for not just 4-H, but just renting this place out year round.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
I was gonna say we can use it.
So if you wouldn't mind adding that to your notes.
Yeah, and the
Get started.
inventory that I have, because I haven't looked at the dining room, it's just off of the 2 cooks that we use for 4-H that they've said the things that they, over the years, they've
Oh, sure, it's not complete.
said.
I guarantee it's not gonna be complete.
The biggest one was that we rent freezers. It's a source house.
A bunch of them.
Yeah.
Place right there.
That's just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this would be looking at doing potentially a 4-phase, so it could be multiple years, 4-phase plan with the first phase being focusing on Craigslist Cottage, second 4-H building, third council circle, and then the fourth, the dining hall. Of course, this is just all talking about like 4-H. So the ways that I would be looking through 4-H to be able to get the funding for this is to talk to our stakeholders in the county, in the state, as well as WVU Extension has what they call a Day of Giving campaign. It's in March. And I've worked with our development office at WVU to create that campaign that gets out there that anybody can, $5, $5,000, they can contribute to that. So where this stands, if the board and the park would like me to follow through with looking into getting the funding, I need to have estimates on how much this is going to cost for each one of those phases, that then we can go to the development office at WVU and be like, do we do this in 4 phases, or is it an amount that we can just say lump sum, let's do this all in once? So if we want to go, if we're good with going forward with this, I just need to know who would be recommended to get that estimate for those.
What I'd like to do, if there's no board objection, is discuss the actual, getting the quotes and stuff like that here in just a little bit.
Sure.
Because we have some whole park plans that we're tying to very well. But,
Excellent.
I'll make sure we bring that back up. Thank you, that's very good.
Oh, and I just wanted, real quick, I was looking at the website. Who manages the website for us, for the park? Because we have updates that need to be done for that too. Because you're not on there, James. Emily's still in. Okay, so that would be your potential response, okay. I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
that would be back to
We
her
had an idea of
administrative
who
thing.
might.
Whoever's the office manager usually
Okay.
takes care of it.
Yeah. If you don't mind, add that to your list to get with her about it. Okay, so now on to the pool. Mary?
Okay, for the pool, we have several needs also. We need lounge chairs. There are about 4 chairs that are good to sit in over there. So we definitely need lounge chairs. We
Get
need a,
number on that, maybe 20, 30, 50.
20 would be great. We usually have 10.
Okay.
And usually a couple of those are broke.
Yes, and we normally have picnic tables also, so we need to check those
Have
and
you
see.
looked at them?
Yeah, they're bad.
Oh, yeah.
They're
So we
pretty
need
bad.
picnic tables also, and also a shelter for shade. Because, I mean, there's little tiny kids that come, there's elderly that come, so we definitely need shades. Now, Mary told me that there are some type of triangular shades over there,
Yeah, but,
or, I mean, somewhere in the park,
Yeah,
but they
they-
haven't been installed.
no, well, it's basically something, it's just one of those simple, you have a support rod that you tie one part of it to, and then you tie the other part to, like, say, the side of the building. So it kind of makes it into like an awning type situation. But when the wind blows, that stuff, it doesn't take hardly anything to blow that off there.
Okay, and then the big wooden doors. There are 3 sliding wooden doors in bad shape. One of them is particularly rotten. The other 2 are very hard to open. The bathroom showers don't work. There's no water. There's a leak in the pump room where the chlorine and the return pipes meet. That needs taken care of.
And that actually recently just snapped, so
Yes.
that whole thing in there is going to need to be replaced.
In the kitchen area, there are pipes under the sink that are leaking, and it gets pretty wet in there in the concession area. So that's a hazard. There's no hot water at the kitchen sink. There needs to be hot water because, I mean,
It's a kitchen.
Right.
it's a kitchen.
That's not saying.
Right.
Yeah, we need to have hot water. And the only slide that is there now, there used to be 2. One of them broke and was dangerous. And so that was removed, and now the only one that was left there is broken also.
James, is that something you and Mary could working on getting us some idea of some better slides?
Absolutely.
You know, they're flimsy plastic, really. I mean, I understand, you know, the look and stuff, but they're not long lasting.
Right.
So if
Oh,
you could come up
gosh.
with some better
I
options.
mean, yeah, and
Going
we all
two
saw that
facilities
shape of that
or
slide that
one,
day.
two
You
slides.
inspected
Yeah.
everything.
Did you hear back from National about the paint?
Oh, yeah, they, when, it's funny because I told Garrett about this. When I asked him about it, I was like, hey, you have any, you know, paint that we could use that would, you know, actually last? And he said, the only paint that they would have would last maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years at the most. And I was like, well, what's the point? You know, if we need it to last longer than that. And he's like, well, it's more of just like a side revenue stream for the company. And that was it.
Did you ask him that since, you know, we're not supposed to drain the pool, how do we paint it every 2 years?
I didn't think to ask him that.
They said don't drain it, so I mean, how do you paint it every 2 years?
Also, when the pool was renovated, on the side of the tennis court, there is a place for water to come out for a slide.
Oh, yeah.
That's on the 5-foot end. So,
Right.
I mean, that would be awesome if you could get one that had
What about
water going down the slide.
the
Right.
pool cleaner?
Oh, the
Yes.
dolphin.
If they could get, I mean, if we're going to make a wish list, this will be
We might as well. I mean, come on, go big or go home. Come on.
a pool sweeper that would, you know, it would be great if they could put it in there, let it sweep.
It's like
And,
a, what do you call that, a
You know.
Roomba?
It's like a pool Roomba.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Brown showed me one called a dolphin, and it's like $500, $600, maybe $700.
That was refurbished. She sent me.
Oh, that was
too.
refurbished.
That's
it
not
would,
bad.
it would have to be commercial grade because.
And that's
Right.
Yeah, it
residential.
could be,
Because, yeah,
yeah.
so that's all I have.
Anything else? Okay. 2 more things. We'll talk about this here in a minute. I'm not going to inspect the park until December, but I'm going to get that done before the end of the year. For the ones that weren't here, I'm a home inspector and offered just to inspect the whole park for free. So we're just going to see truly what is every single need that at least I can come up with on the whole park.
Has someone done the inspections before?
4-H did one,
Did they
but
not-
other than that,
No.
just until something was a problem, it wasn't addressed. I mean, it worked well for them at times and other times not so much. But there are foundation issues, I'm afraid, on both front corners. There are some plumbing stack issues where the plumbing vent actually doesn't even go through the roof. And so the boys' bathroom, they've complained about, you know, sewer smells for all these times. Well, the pipe goes up about this close to the top of the ceiling and just stops. Then you shine a flashlight on it, and there's a black circle. It's about 5 foot around it. And, you know, it's no wonder you had that problem. So, I mean, there's,
Yeah.
I'm a mold inspector, so I didn't think it was mold. Thank God. But, I mean, I can still throw in a test one, sure. But, so we definitely, they did a real good job remodeling the pool. We just got to get around to remodeling the building, because it's definitely
Outdated.
needed. Thank you. Jennifer, you have anything for the fair?
I guess our biggest concern is that power box down there, the red power box. That thing is, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. There's a bird nest in it.
I clean it out constantly.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Well, it needs
electrical.
sealed.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's rusted. When we had the fair, we had to go buy breakers to put in it. There's never enough power, it seems like, to go to the vendors. It just really, really needs to be upgraded and refurbished. I guess my other concern would be water,
Right, yeah.
that water meter.
Right.
Where it wasn't used for a couple of years, it just caved in on itself.
I
So
tried my
there's
best
no
to dig it
water
out.
over there at all.
We need to have the city come in and do that.
Yeah.
Probably just set in a whole new box.
You want me to call them tomorrow and see if they can at least come out here and,
Do you use it other than the fair?
no?
Let's
It's
get
just
the
for
big
that.
plan in place
Okay.
and then we'll, yeah, as
Where
long as
does-
we don't need it to meet.
The bathrooms, where does their water come from? Which meter?
The big red barn? that
Yeah.
is? It comes from, it comes from the same meter as dining hall and the cabins.
Okay, so it's just the fair office, or is the produce room there? Well, there's no water in
Yeah,
there.
there's
So it's
no
just the
water.
fair office that
Right.
goes to that meter?
Yep.
That was built for you all, so they probably have their own
Yep.
meter just for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was our only other thing. Do you think of anything?
Just, Jeff said, don't let anybody put the figures in the red box.
Just for me to elaborate on that, and the only reason I'm saying that is I walked all these ball fields and everything. It took me 5 hours to go through and look at everything on the ball field. But I did notice that a lot of your outlets down through the park have no covers on them.
Well, I was
The
going to get
post
to
is
that.
rotting away from it. It's
Yeah.
just electrical.
We had guardrails with electrical boxes on it for the vendors, because the vendors
Right.
always set up through there for the fair. Well, they're getting now to where they all have to go to that flimsy power box because,
So I guess what
Yeah.
I'm saying is just to make sure that there's no power on that stuff, because man, it would be easy
Oh, yeah.
for a kid to get electrocuted there.
I've got a spot on my card for that. You can take it.
I actually, next to the girls' field, no, to the boys'
Do you know
field, with
if
the
they're on?
bleachers. There
I got
were,
my tester in my truck, I'll let you know before we
Yeah,
go.
I've
there
got
were
test
2 outlets at the bleachers at the Little League boys' field. And there was power on both of them. The wires were broke. And when I was doing my inspection, we found that, but I'm telling you,
Which field was that? Is it like between, the bleachers between these
no,
two
it's
fields?
right in front of the bleachers at Little League Field.
Right here?
Yeah, but we're going to, I have something we were going to do.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get to you. I want to
Okay,
say
that's
before last
okay,
with your
that's
full
okay.
presentation.
I just wanted you to,
I was
keep
going to get to
in
that
mind
because
we're electrical.
we usually have vendors hooked up to every one of those guardrails, and I think 2 of them worked this year during the fair. And one of those, one of our vendors got shocked using it,
Oh,
but it had power on it.
It was a lot.
yeah, my biggest nightmare would be to have a small child,
Yep.
you know how they are, no covers or anything, and stick something in there.
And a lot of those wires are just, they're just sticking there. They're not down in a conduit or anything, and
Even worse.
yeah.
Well, and just while we're on it, because it's kind of related, all the lights through the park,
Yep.
on the street lights, some of them were the power company, some of them were wired from the park. It's just wired to one of the close buildings, I guess. There's conduit halfway up on some, there's not even conduit on some. And so all the street lamps, we probably need to just keep them in mind too, to go ahead. And then also expand, I brought up the Homeland Security mobile lights for the fair, because from the 4-H building on down, it's pitch black at night, because it means there's just.
We had
no
vendors set
lights
up there,
whatsoever.
and it was pitch black.
Oh, yeah.
The hospital was making balloons and
In the dark.
in the dark.
So the blues are interesting, they came out of the dark.
Yeah, we don't need that.
And I said, oh my gosh, we got to get them some lights. It was, but it's scary too, if even not just during the fair, but
Well,
if
there
you're
is
at,
one light, and a lot of times we don't leave until
midnight, 1 o'clock in
midnight,
the morning.
1, 2, 3. It was 3 when we left the last night of the fair. And if you forget and park down here, it's crazy scary
Yeah, I'd say.
walking down through here.
Hey Garrett, you don't have a fire company set poles and we maintain the lights. Per light is $7 a month. And then when they get bad, we fix them.
Right. Right.
Do you actually know how many belong to the park and how many belong to the power company?
No, but I can get on that.
I appreciate it.
They're all gonna have to be redone.
Yeah, irregardless, they're gonna all have to be redone. There's one down there, it wasn't even dusted on, it was that square one on the corner of there's a dusted on and then there's a square one above it. And it was just burning 24/7.
Well, there's 3 lights on it. One's a dusted dawn, one's 24/7, and one I've never seen lit. So I mean, you know, how they're even wired, I don't know. So I mean,
I mean, you have the initial cost of getting the lighting in, and it's like I said, $7 per light.
Yeah.
And it don't matter if it runs all the time, you know, it's $7 a month. Just for the regular 100-watt area light.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I've been thinking about that we definitely need to consider. So nothing else from the fair?
Think of anything else?
No. Just hope the air conditioning's working in here in July. That's all.
Brogan's got back to you?
Actually, I called them almost 2 weeks ago. They said they put me on the schedule.
Okay.
Never seen or heard anybody for 2 weeks, so I called again today. He said, oh, well, we didn't forget about you, but they said they had a lot of other people who were higher priority, like people without heat and stuff like that. So,
Right.
But they told me, well, they said that they probably won't make it out here until after Thanksgiving, so.
Okay.
Good deal.
Right.
Tim, do you have anything? Okay. Joey? Okay. Gary, for the residents? Okay. Mary's got the pool. Eugene, have anything you?
I just think that I'm glad that the county commission has taken a big part of this park, because I've been on this park board for years, and I mean, we just didn't have no money. I mean, that was just, and you couldn't pay. I mean, Sally's been there. I've been with Sally for, I mean, I know that, and I appreciate it, really.
Well, we appreciate you all. I mean, this is a partnership, and it's going to take all of us.
I think that's the best thing that we could do, really.
And I don't want to speak for Lloyd and Craig, but I think that we're just, you know, we want to see results, but we're, you know, it's not going to be an unfunded mandate of here, you go fix it. We're going to, you know, try and be hand in hand, obviously, and see good things happen. So, no, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the city of Summersville, because really, truly, they've put a lot in this park over the years, too. And Eugene's been on council for a long time, so we appreciate you all, too.
Well, you have to work together, and if you don't, I mean, like I say, the Little League, I've been on this park, I've been on the president, everything of it, so, to me, you just have to have somebody to work with. I mean, you didn't have no money to work with. Before, they just act like the, I mean, all this power and, it's like that Beamer,
Craigsville.
Craigsville cabin.
When's
You
the last
have no
year that was
money, you
used?
can't do anything
I
with it.
have no idea.
Long time.
Long.
Yeah. Not used all the
It
time.
didn't have power in it when I was coming to camp here, so.
Yeah. Long.
Really?
Wow.
So,
That's only 5 years ago.
That's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a worse
but no, I really do.
It's always
I'm
been
glad
closed up.
that that in. I really do.
Yeah.
That's the reason, I mean, I'm glad back on the board, because of, yeah, you can do something.
That's right.
And I'll help. You couldn't do nothing before, you just almost just stuck your hand and forget about it almost.
That's right. Yeah, we'll see good things happen. I
Yeah,
think we
I
will. Aaron, I know you've got some assistance there, and I'll let you both go ahead and talk to them, that way you ain't got to wait.
Can I
for
ask a question here before?
Yeah, because the
Sure,
last
go
meeting I
ahead.
did ask.
Okay. This balance that's in the park account, is that money like already spoken for in different things, or like it doesn't have to go towards anything specific?
That'll be it. Just
Well,
bills
yeah,
and
but
salaries.
Employee salary.
Yeah, all the expenses because of the power bill, and all that.
I mean, you can see there that our expenses, the basic rundown of what our expenses are every month.
Right. Summer's a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah,
give
for
or
this
take.
time of year, I mean, that's probably pretty standard.
And I have one more question before you start, Dave.
Okay, you can write it.
This Mom Power bill, I know, and this has a little bit to do with the Little League, but I know we paid a bill to Mom Power. Is that just for a specific part,
So the pool account, the 535 is just for the pool building.
right?
And then down here, the Mon Power, that's $2,225. That's the rest of the power meters for the rest of the property.
So what we pay is just the lights around the ball field?
Little League,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lights and any.
And the concession
concessions
stand
that-
and. Okay.
Yeah, you want to hand those out. I think they're going to need about 2, 4, 6,
Should be
You want me to hand it
11
back?
of the actual board members.
I can hand it back.
Okay. You've already got one.
Brandon, do you want one?
Actually, yeah, I've got one.
I have modified since the one you have, so,
Oh, do you?
yeah, just a little, not much, I mean, just a little bit. We learned some different things, so.
Seem to be short.
How many we short? Here's
They got some down here.
Oh, we got some.
Oh, you already have some?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got
yeah.
covered.
All right, I think we'll go there.
Okay, has everybody got one?
Here you have.
All right. Mr. Cole, the first thing I'd like to say is, you know, I took on this project because, number one, I was not pleased with how things were let go at Little League Field. And I felt like the new board, I feel like the new board that we have is for the kids and it's for making improvements to this park to where we can get more people down here to have tournaments, play ball, do whatever. And, you know, we, of course, looks and upgrades is a big part of it. I know for years, and I coached 10 years, for 10 years, years ago, and it used to be us against you all, Little League against the park board. I mean, that's just the way it was. But I'm here to tell you that that will not happen with me here. I want to work with each and every one of you. If there's any way that we can help you also, we will. We, you know, and we know that you will help us if we need some help. So, but, you know, there is a lot of work over there to be done. And if you want to look at the handout that I gave you, and like I say, I walked every structure, every field, and looked at everything over there. And I'm not going to read to you every single item and every single thing, but, you know, Little League, as I feel, we have a part to play, and of course, we're asking the park board to do their part. So if we both do our part, we'll be really successful. The work that we estimate that needs to be done to the fields and to the structures, and just give it an overall facelift, if you look at the very back page. The total estimated material cost, and I added 15% to that top number because of lumber pricing, labor, and all this kind of stuff, that we're looking at about $7,300. And that's going to include portable, brand new flexible fences for the minor league field and the senior league field. It's going to entail painting the whole Little League complex, every structure. It's going to include, and you can look through there, the concession stand will be completely revamped. It's just old and outdated, and it needs a lot of work. And of course, you can look at my man hours there, 561. That's about 14 weeks for one guy, 40 hours a week. And of course, you know, Little League starts in the first part of April, our season does. But I have talked, we have talked, Jim Epling talked to Gary Gerald about the DRC helping out, and they've agreed. There'll be days when they can send 1, 2, more than that. Of course, there'll be days when they can't send anybody. You know, but we can work with that. We have also, we've got some other people that we think is going to have volunteer a little bit. But my actual proposal for these repairs is that out of the money that the commission has ballpark figured for us, that we pay a guy to do this and to supervise the RC or anybody else that we can get up here to help do some work. I also went to the VOTEC today and I talked to Mark Odell, who's over the construction. One of the things that I don't have on here that I am requesting from the park is that we be allowed to put a press box behind the girls' field, directly behind the cage. And of course, it's not on here. I have already started soliciting materials for that, and I think that we're going to really be able to do that if you all will let us do that.
Well, there used to be one on there.
Yeah, there's none now, so, but, you know, just letting you know that we are going to be hosting the West Virginia State Girls Major Softball Tournament this year. This is a
What month
change.
is that?
That is 11, 12.
What month?
Month.
Oh, what month is that? It'll be July, I'm sorry.
I was gonna
I said,
say,
what
November,
age is that?
December? That's cold for fall. Okay, I'm sorry.
But anyway, the district, our district people were not satisfied with the previous administration on the Little League board. And in talking with them and ensuring them that we're going to make things right, we're going to do it right, and with your all's help, we can put on the best tournament here that they've ever seen. And if we can do that one time, we'll have many more opportunities to do it over and over.
And that's guaranteed. I mean,
Yes.
you've got it established.
Yes.
It's not pending one thing. or
No,
the
this
other.
Little League tournament.
So we just need to make it.
12
we
teams.
look good.
Yeah, we need everything to look,
12 teams guaranteed?
how many,
12 teams guaranteed, or? the
I don't know
teams?
how many teams
Okay.
it'll be at the whole state tournament.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
these
girls,
tournaments,
for the
yeah.
girls?
Yeah, for the-
11 and 12 year olds.
When did you say the date of that?
July.
12.
it's in
12th.
July.
What day?
11th and 12th.
11 and 12 year olds.
11 and 12-year-olds, we don't know the date.
In July.
I'm sorry, I don't have the
Okay.
date yet. Okay.
We do have fair dates. They're the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
Okay.
Of July.
21st.
We're just saying.
22nd and 23rd.
We're just saying.
That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah, because I'm going to be meeting with the district over
Let
this
them come
I
sit
should probably those days. Or do they have a game
on several issues. But we know that you all are in need of an employee to do stuff here at the park. And what we would like to do, Garrett, is take our allotment of money from the commission and pay an individual to do just the little league stuff. Okay, because that's what it's going to take. He don't have time. I mean, this is a tremendous list of things that need to be done, but I know we can get it done.
He's got a lot of park elsewhere too to be
Right.
looking after too.
You're absolutely right.
We'll be
So-
looking at a lot of stuff.
Right. But if you want to look at, go through this, it's,
And this doesn't include any work.
no, this does not include the work in the fields, but I'm going to give you a little update on the fields here after we look at this. But I guess my main question is can we get permission to build a press box behind the girls' backstop? And another request that we have is, of course, the backstop to minor league field is really of no benefit for playing. The home plate is underneath the backstop, so you can't field foul balls, you can't throw somebody out of third. I mean, it's not set up really to play on as a sanctioned
So
field.
you need to remove it.
Well, what I want to do is take the existing one, we really don't need it.
Okay.
We'll back the other one up 8 feet. That'll leave you that'll be 2 feet from the walkway that goes through there.
Right.
Okay, we could even go 6 feet, which would leave 4 feet to the walkway. We need to set post, 3-inch steel post. We will tie it together with pipe, you know, like you do regular fencing. We'll do cables. And then we already have got the net donated, put over that. The only other thing we'll need to do is take the existing fence, move in and attach it to the backstop. And really, no extra expense there, it's just labor. But what'll happen is that will open that field up so much for all the different leagues, Little League boys, Little League girls, any of the girls' games, and they'll all be able to play. There's just issues with that field being so small. Actually, that is the best field in this park. For drainage and all that, it is an excellent field. And like I say, we put a temporary fence up. It'll have inserts in the ground. They'll have caps, red caps on them when the fence is not there. And it'll be really easy to put up and take down. And we're going to do that to Senior League Field also, from the first base foul line over to the first post at the scoreboard. Okay. And we're going to put fence topper, yellow fence topper on all the fence. These portable fences won't need it, but all the other existing fences. Some of them have it, and there's gaps in it. We got a lot of fence work, we got a lot of gate work we need to do to get everything, but that's all manual type labor. Of course, we have a tractor. We got somebody who knows how to do all this stuff. The person that I have in mind here, and I'm going to bring it out to you here in a minute. But my wife is in charge of the concession stand. She ran it for about 10 years when our kids played, and she knows how to do it. And we were very disappointed that thing didn't run at all last year hardly. And that is one of Little League's biggest money makers is the concession stand. If it's not running, there's no money coming in.
Sure.
So, you know, we plan to do all that, and of course we're selling advertisement signs for the outfield. What we want to do, which is not on here either, but a lot of this stuff we're going to put in our Little League budget for the money that we get from the Youth Association. We want to put a fence protector on the boys and girls existing fields that have fence. And what that does is that covers, what it does is you can't see through it. So you're not looking at anything beyond the field. You're looking at the field.
Okay.
And you see what I'm saying? It's like a batter's eye type thing. And it really, with the yellow fence topper, which is a safety thing, the fields will look great. I'm telling you, will absolutely look great. Time we get done painting them, we're going to pressure wash everything, we're going to paint. And I mean, we've got a huge list here, but there's no doubt in my mind we will get this done. We just need, you know, approval from you all, especially on the press box and fixing the backstop on the minor league field. And we do have one request. Now, this would cut out of our budget. We do not have a working lawn, if y'all could believe that. The guy that did our field last year, maintained our field maintenance all year, used his personal lawn, which I said, that is not happening, never again. That's too much to ask for somebody to do, especially for volunteer. So one thing was we were going to ask if we could use the park mower, and if not, you know, we will budget and we will get us a finishing mower for the back of our tractor or something so that we can buy it. But you know, that is just a request.
Well, like Mary said, if you're going to dream big.
Yeah, dream big.
Whatever it is, put it down there. You know, we can just prioritize.
Right. Well, we did. We had a zero turn, and somebody run it without oil, and the engine's all messed up, and it's sitting down there, and it's not worth anything. It would cost more to get it fixed than it would be to buy a new one.
Yep.
So we're thinking if we can buy a finish mower for the back of the tractor, that would probably be our best bet.
Yep.
So, but we, you know, I take a lot of pride in that park, this park, because my kids play ball here, and I got grandkids coming up to play ball here, and I want them to have the same facility that we had when my other
And the
kids-
same accessibility that you had, that, you know,
Yeah.
that's what this park's supposed to be for.
It is, absolutely, and, you know, I'm not in this for my two grandkids that are gonna play. I'm in this because I want this park to succeed. I want you all to be able to, and of course, everybody knows about the new sports complex that's gonna be going in and all this and that, but that doesn't mean that this park still won't be maintained and used just as much as it ever was, if we can get it looking good and doing it. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. And I am, I'm kind of OCD. When I get on something, I'm gonna stay on it.
Dog in the bone.
But, you know, that was kind of the thing here. I guess my biggest thing that I have to ask is, when would we be able to access our funds?
I'd like to talk about that a little bit later. I know I've told everybody in this whole meeting tonight, let's talk about it in a minute.
Well,
But I'd
there's
like
a lot
to
of
address
stuff
that all
to
at
cover.
once, if
Right.
you don't mind sticking
Oh, no,
around.
that's
Yeah.
fine. The only reason I'm asking is,
You can start.
we don't have any money and we need to get started.
Sure.
I mean, we just don't. We weren't left financially well at all.
Well, I applaud your enthusiasm
Yep.
to want to get started.
Well, let me tell you, I've got such a great board of enthusiastic people that they're already planning and fundraising, and I mean, you know, this is gonna happen, period. It is gonna happen. We're gonna make it happen.
Just like I said, let's circle back on that. But let me ask you, so what about the field work?
Okay, field goal. What happened was, of course, I think Jim and Robbie Brown are basically the ones doing the fields. We're working on that. Jim Epley.
Oh, okay.
And
Right.
we originally had a quote from Matt Hokum for $12,000, and that wasn't including this special dirt that they put on the infields, okay? Plus, it's hard to find. Well, we found the dirt in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, which is 4 hours away. It's about an hour north of Pittsburgh. But we have someone that will haul that dirt for us. We don't expect him to haul for nothing, you know, but we know that he's going to accommodate us in hauling the dirt. What we will do is, and what it is, it's a professional mix type stuff. For
Sand
three
and
of
clay, maybe?
it's
That type
sand, clay, and it's like brick material that gives it,
Really?
yeah.
It's interesting.
But anyway, what it is, on 3 of the fields, we'll be able to buy this dirt, and we'll be able to till it in with the existing, okay, and then we'll get to build.
Oh, that's.
But what we need to do, we're gonna have to shoot grade, we're gonna have to get the water to where it runs to the outfield, and just kind of clean it up all together. Keep the water from running into the dugouts, keep the water from running into behind the backstop where everybody walks, you know, through the walkway. And they are sending quotes to Jim and Robbie, and I haven't got an update on them. We were on a conference call with him. And the only other thing that we'll need to do for the senior league field is we're going to require a French drain from the outfield at the first base foul line all the way down to the fence at the football field.
What field was that? The senior league?
Senior
club?
Yeah. And then there'll be a little bit of drainage coming down to the dugout and maybe around home there. But once we get that done, then, you know, and we shoot grade and get everything built up, then we'll be able to put the new dirt. The dirt is extremely expensive. That dirt is $65 a ton. Now, they have a professional grade dirt that is $95 a ton. So, you know, we're staying away from the $95 a ton.
Thank you.
But we are guaranteed, we're pretty much guaranteed 5 years on this dirt if it's taken care of. And the only maintenance, the only upgrade we would need after 5 years is probably another truckload of dirt to go on top of it.
Until then.
Till then.
Oh, that's excellent.
And there's no drag, you don't drag these fields. You know, after they put down this dirt and stuff, they roll it, they compact it. And mainly, if you maintenance it, you rake around the bases where people are sliding and doing stuff, or if you get a rough spot, you rake it. You don't put a tractor on. That's why the berms and everything are so high out there on those fields, is when you drag with a piece of equipment, you throw all your pump stuff,
All your good stuff
it
out to
all
the
builds
edges.
up on the outer berm of the grass. So, but I'm thinking, you know, and I don't know, but I am hoping that we can come in on that under 25. So, I mean, that's
Now,
just.
that bid from Holcomb Excavation, does that include the dirt once it's here to be put in, leveled and compacted and all that?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I'd have to check with Jim on that to make sure. Okay. She's actually not here. I don't know if it meant.
That's the labor.
So you don't use no more sand on that?
No, you use this mix, which is, you know, if you've ever walked on those fields out there when it's wet, I mean, you leave your, you know, the thing about it is, nobody ever came up here when it was pouring the rain down or had rained all day and said, hey, listen, we're not playing today. You're going to mess the fields up. We're not playing today. Well, guess what? That's going to be my job. And believe me, I will be up here every day making sure
Doing your job.
that nobody is on those fields when they're not playing them, because that's where your fields get the most damage. And then, you know, of course, in the off season, I don't know what we'll do as far as people getting out there and getting on them. I don't know what we can do there, but something to think about. But I really think, and I'm just quoting off the number that you give Jim Eplin as what we would be probably receiving from the commission. And that's what, you know, that's where we're trying to stay within that. And I think absolutely we can. Now, the labor hours, and you all can do the math on that. The guy that I have in mind to do that, of course, James knows him, is Mitchell Nash. He has donated more time down here to this ballpark. He umpired over 140 games last year. Now, he was one of the only umpires that were down here. He has done everything that we've ever asked him to do. He is down here all the time and he's always doing something. He has agreed to do this work and to supervise any help for $8.50 an hour. And I
Now,
know
would
that.
this be, or sir, let me ask you this, are you requesting the park? I mean, no matter where the money comes from, let's say the money's
Right.
not the issue, the park have him as an employee, or the Little League have him as an employee?
We would like to put him on as our employee and deal with him with a 1099.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Okay. That way, because see, what's going to happen is when ball season starts, he won't be your, you know, he'll go back to umpiring, which we need,
Right.
and he's going to be doing all this fall, and he's going to be our groundskeeper. He's our groundskeeper on the board too.
Yeah.
So, but James knows him. He's probably dealt with him more than anybody
Oh, yeah.
here, except for me, and I don't think we could ask for anybody that could do any better. And, you know, he's willing to do it for under minimum wage. And the reason he is because, the reason is he's doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
He just he loves it down here.
You might check with your accountant, you might need to pay him. I don't know,
Okay.
that's something I'd recommend.
Yeah,
looking into.
actually,
Just make sure.
there, Jessica, our treasurer, is checking with Wayne.
Okay.
Wayne, so.
I just don't want to see y'all get in trouble. For,
Yeah, oh yeah, we don't
for,
want
you
to
know,
get in
what's a good
trouble.
thing, you know what I mean? And,
Right.
I don't want to take it back.
But, you know, of course, we need your all's approval for that. And this whole package here, I'm thinking if you do the man hours at $8.50, I'm thinking you're probably around, I don't know, somebody got a calculator for 14 weeks, 12 weeks, somewhere along that.
What, is 561, is that the hours you estimated underneath the $7,300?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say $9, just in case you had people. And that's $5,000 over 14 weeks.
Right. So, you know, you add that actually to the cost of materials, and we're looking at, of course, like I say, I added a little bit to this because lumber and everything, prices are changing all the time down at Lowe's and stuff. You know, 7,300, 5,000. So we're looking at 12,3. And, you know, we may be over a little bit, we may be under a little bit if we can get some help, especially from some of these other folks. If we can get some help on the labor, we can probably beat that a little bit. And then whatever money, you know, we have left, we can put that towards actually on the fields. I'm excited about this tournament coming. They swore they would never have another tournament down here because of what happened a couple years ago. And because we have had a change of board, they're giving us a chance. And we need to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Because not only will it be a good thing for Little League, Thomasville Little League, it'll be a good thing for this park right here.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we want, and I know Robbie is going to be, he's going to be having tournaments down here when he does his lease. And, you know, the better it looks and the more that we have to offer, the more that we're going to be able to get in here.
Yeah, because we're an ideal location.
Oh,
We're
it's
centrally
perfect.
located.
I mean, how can you?
Right here on the interstate.
Yeah, right on the interstate off 19, central part of the state. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better.
Right.
And like I say, this park will be here doing its thing, even though they have a sports complex in town. And I know everybody's excited about that. That's a great thing. We need that. But I'm telling you, that is not a death sentence for this park.
Right.
This park can keep right on going and doing good. It can. And
We've had ongoing discussions how we're going to work together to make sure each other's taken
Right.
care of.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll work. I'm telling you, this area is big enough to accommodate both of these facilities. So, I just want to tell you that, you know, I appreciate your time listening to me, our proposals, and, you know, like I say, if Mitchell's down here and James needs a hand to something he can't handle by himself, Mitchell will be glad to help him. And, I mean, we're here, we're all in this together. It's not us, you, it's all of us.
Right, doesn't have to be a tug of war.
And, you know, I want my kids, when they come down here, and the way I look at it is, we will get better parent participation and better, my goal is to sign up 100 more kids than we did last year. And we're going to work hard at that. We're going to businesses, we're going to schools, you know, we're going to be bitty basketball, and we're going to get the kids signed up to play. And if they come down here and they've got a good-looking facility, and they'll take pride. Parents will take pride in it. And we'll get more and more and more help. And I think it'll be a really good thing. I really do. It will shock me if it's not.
So let me ask you a question about the shower room. What, have you decided anything on it?
Well, are you talking about the bathrooms over
Right,
there?
over here. I mean, the shower room. There's shower rooms over there that's been there for
Well,
years. Nobody showers anymore.
no, I
And
mean,
there's-
I don't have, the only other thing that I really had to ask is the condition of the bathrooms. Will they be in condition
Yeah, he needs.
for
his-
heavy usage?
Well, that's what I was asking about that shower room.
It is-
Go catch him.
Because if not, what we will do is, you know, we'll have to go out and get porta potties for our Little League season.
Those shower rooms, how many's in there? You know, Sally?
There are.
And they don't use them. I mean, water and,
We did work
It's a good sized building.
yeah, and so they use that as a bathroom.
Actually, yes, they are used,
We did
Eugene.
porta potties.
4-H
does.
Yeah, there's a couple still out there.
Yeah, there's still a couple out
I don't know who's
I
paying
don't
for
know.
it, just so you
I
know.
think they're lobbies, actually.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind, make sure he knows, because I don't know if they charge by the day or what, but they're out there.
Yeah, I will, I'll talk to him, I'll let you know.
4-H uses them, the fair uses them,
Right.
I think the carnival and the goat people that stay overnight use them.
Those specific ones?
Yeah. And
Showers, I
Yeah.
would,
who else did you
Yeah, the
say?
carnival.
I think they-
Oh, Golly Fish use them.
Use them.
I think there were a lot of issues maybe with drainage
City
and
has
stuff
something
over
to go
there. I
to.
don't know, but I've not got any.
That's it, man.
The feedback I got about the bathrooms is not
I
good.
think
That's
you
all
want
right.
to
I'll
catch
take
Our
it.
tournament in the
We'll
spring,
get next week.
we had issues with the bathrooms, and that's when we did the porta potties. We done with the bathrooms this fall.
Yeah, everything I've heard is it's not good feedback about the bathrooms, and that's why the porta potties is coming. But, I don't really know, if they're workable or usable, and if you can, whatever the park can do as far as the showers, we don't use them. I mean, maybe that's a route to go to convert those to bathrooms or whatever. But, on a good night, if we got games on every field, we're talking about a lot of people. A lot of people.
But they are used though. I mean, they are.
Oh, yeah, I know they're
Yeah.
used, yeah. My wife went in there and used, I hate to even bring this up. She went in there to use the bathroom and somebody cracked in one of the sinks.
Good.
But let me say this. We are looking into our code of conduct book, and abuse of equipment, structures, fences, anything is no longer going to be tolerated on this little field. And our board has been instructed, if you see something going on, let us know. If a coach is involved, he's going to be in front of the board. We're just not going to go through all this work and time and let people
nothing.
destroy it for nothing.
Right.
And so we're going to take a hard line on that. I don't think a hard line's been taken for many years, but we are going to take a hard line. And, we may have to make examples of a couple of people, but once we do that, the message will be pretty clear that we're not going to tolerate it. I hope we don't have to make any examples, but I'm sure we probably will. But we're just not going to tolerate that. That is going to be something,
Right.
that, we're going to prevent potential accidents from happening. Now, my background, and I know you're a home inspector, I was in quality assurance for about 28 years. Then I was a mine safety director for about 6 years. Then I went to work for the federal government as a mine inspector. So
There's a few more things than me, I guess.
so I'm always looking at, whether you're in the mines or whether you're out here, I'm always looking at things that are potential hazards or that can hurt somebody. So, and I'll be glad if I find something, I'll let you all know, or take care of it, or we'll do something. But I just want,
Yeah, you got a park superintendent that looks over the whole place, and you have an office administrator
right,
now.
and we will, and I
I'll
will,
give you my
because
number too.
I'm always on the lookout for that type of stuff, and it's just in my blood, so. But we look forward to working with y'all, we really do. And we're excited about this upcoming season. We think it's going to be better than it's been for years.
Well,
That's
as
great.
I said, I applaud your enthusiasm. Whether it's the Little League or whatever it is. I
Right.
mean, you've taken an interest and you care. And you're
And-
willing to do something about it.
We're going to have these soccer guys, when we're not there, we're not, they'll get to play, so it'll be good.
We need a spot for a spring tournament.
Here we go.
Hey, I've already got a text from somebody.
Jeremy, I'm sure.
But anyway, that's all I have, and, if you want to talk about the funding here whenever you get ready,
Stick around, I guess.
okay, we'll hang around for that, how's that?
Yeah.
Y'all got any questions for us, I mean, as far as all this goes?
I think this is good. I appreciate you
No,
putting
my
that
biggest
together.
question was, what was that dirt made out of? I mean, dang.
Yeah, it is, it's really, but the thing about it is, it can rain all night, and in the morning you'll be able to play on it.
Oh, wow.
That's the thing about it.
As long as you got the
Yeah.
drainage, the course.
Yeah.
Copy of, Matt Holcomb's.
Can I keep this? Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah. And I'll get this distributed to everybody.
Yeah, now, remember that does not include
Yeah,
the
it
dirt.
says on there somewhere.
Sand mixture will be extra.
That's 65
They call it sand mixture, but really it's got silt clay, I don't know what all, it's kind of technical stuff. I was kind of fascinated by it.
Well,
They actually want us to send them a sample of our senior league field so that they can evaluate that. as far as
exactly how much
mixing
to
what
the
we
mix.
need. So they seem to, I mean, this is what they do for a living.
Now, you mentioned 3 fields, you could just add it right to it? Or 2
3 of
fields?
them, yeah, which would be the minor league field,
Yeah.
the girls' field, and potentially the little league field. But we need to get that field up to where we don't have to take the grass off. We'll cut that berm out.
Okay.
And that may include a little bit more height-wise, but until
Is
they...
there some sort of a base you could use to subsidize some of that?
Well, what we will be
Fancy
putting down on some of that, which makes this drain, is it's called a number 10 screen limestone, which is a 1/4 inch or less. And that goes down in a layer.
Right.
And then you put this dirt over top of it. So,
Now, that's just that one field that you might have to do that with.
yeah, probably the
The base.
boys' little league field, yeah. And in the senior league field, they think we can till it. Of course, we're going to have to build it up some with regular whatever. But the 2 girls' fields, well, the girls' field and the minor league field, are really in pretty good shape. Once we get the dirt on there and till it up, it'll be excellent. It really will. And I wish Robbie was here, because Robbie is our field guy. He knows about these fields, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
because he built one at the middle school.
Oh, really?
He built the middle school field up there, and I'm telling you, he knows about these fields.
And he's already worked with the home
Yeah.
excavation stuff.
Yeah, and he's
It's all
working
the
with
same
this
deal.
dirt guy too, so,
Yeah, Jim talked to.
Yeah, Jim talked to
And Robbie's
him.
talked to the dirt.
yeah.
Okay.
So they're working together to get, hopefully, by the time you all have another commission meeting, which I don't know, you all meet every 2 weeks.
First and third Wednesday of every month.
Okay, hopefully they're going to have something to give you.
Yeah, that's,
So-
so,
Do we get,
yeah, do we need to go to the commission?
Or
do
That's
we
what we
come
need to talk
here?
about here tonight.
yeah, or do we need to
Yeah.
bring that back here?
All right, that's what we need to talk about. That's what we need to game plan
Right.
together, you know. Yeah.
Well, Jim had told me.
But
on
that's
this
not a
one-
stall by any means, okay? I mean,
Right, oh, I,
within 20 minutes, we'll be talking about this again. Yeah.
okay, all right, I'm gonna be quiet too.
Are we gonna talk about bathrooms anymore, or is that, I mean, yes,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, well, sorry.
okay.
Okay,
I wanted to get-
all right. Sorry for being so long.
No. That's why we're doing this. I mean, we wanted everybody's wish list and need list, and every other list. Run through this real quick, under new business, and then we'll regroup with some stuff. Under the bylaw changes, I'm gonna put Amy on the spot here for just 1 second, because she caught me on my own revision of the bylaws on a couple things. If you wouldn't mind, you have a fresh copy separate from everything else. You should get a copy of the bylaws. If you wouldn't mind to just jump through real quick and mention the things you noticed, and then we can discuss further.
So on the first page, the first thing I noticed under section 1, the membership page, where it talks about that the 11 members shall be bona fide residents of the county and shall own real estate. I still live in Webster County, trying to live in Nicholas County, but I still live in Webster County. So with that, that knocked me out of being able to be on the board. So with the new,
And well, I'll tell you what I'll do is, if you'll explain that, then I'll explain
okay,
why I did
so
what
yeah,
I did.
so that was something that I brought to the attention of the, that knocks me out with that wording of being able to serve on the board because I still live in Webster County.
So on that one, what I did, and I mean, this is up to the board, this is not saying I did it, we're doing it, is, and I added in and/or representing one of the groups with an established seat on the board. So that would exclude the general public. The general public would still have to be strictly Nicholas County citizens. But let's say the 4-H, really the 4-H, the fair, maybe youth athletics, that might open that up to, something like that. But really, it's still up to the county commission to decide, well, we want county citizens, whatever. And then, of course, they would just be ineligible for that. So I did adapt that, and if there's a problem to that, we could strike that. But that's something, because I mean, just like our WVU office, it's Nicholas and Fayette. And so, if we have an agricultural representative later on, which Ms. Shamblin is right now, it might be one of their extension agents for Fayette County. Because, I mean, thankful for every single one of you, but sometimes it's hard to fill these boards. And so, you know, in unique situations only, I don't think that's a bad idea to leave as an option. Is there any issue with that? Okay, up to the next one there, please.
I don't know, I had some question marks on some things, so I don't know if you edited any of that or if you understood what my question mark was.
Well, if you'll go tell them, I'll do my best. How about
Okay,
that?
so I just had the question of so the secretary, section 2 on the officers, the secretary does not need to be a member of the commission. So just what's the reasoning behind why the secretary is not, so that technically means that there would be 11 of the commission, and then there could be a 12th person that is the secretary.
I think that a lot
From
of,
my
I've
understanding,
noticed this on a
that
lot of boards, and my only explanation, I'm not a lawyer, so just remember that, but my only explanation could be, that would be like if they had a manager, one of the managers, they want to actually, none of the board was interested, a manager, or basically an employee can be the
Sally
secretary.
used to do that when she was here.
Yeah, and so you used to, yeah, so that, you know, just
So
kind of,
that was just a question.
yeah, alleviates that from the board if nobody wants it.
Gotcha, okay. Under the meetings, section 2, it has the president as he, and so I wasn't sure on some of that if we need to go into the he, she, or the general they of some of that.
And I actually changed that to their own initiative instead of
Yeah.
his own initiative.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing that.
Modern times, things keep
Yeah.
fresh and all that.
There's a correction, irregular UPS, as to each member at least 5 days. So that
Right,
to
yeah, so
be-
now it reads in regular USPS to each member at least 5 days before.
Yeah, so just the wording. Section 3, emergency meetings in the event of emergency meeting require an immediate, so I wasn't sure if that was requiring, with ing on the end of that.
Yes, that's
immediate.
what's corrected to.
Section 5, same thing with the quorum of members. What is a member of good standing?
So somewhere else in the bylaws, I didn't get the exact wording, but I know what it is. And so I added on there, you'll find it is, good standing is where a member has not missed more than 3 meetings in a row or less than 50% of the meetings in a given calendar year. And really, those are the 2 requirements that can cause automatic dismissal. So more or less, as long as you're not dismissed from the board, you know, you can be part of the board. That was what it was intended for originally. That wasn't in the previous bylaws, but where you noted that, I think that's good that we went ahead and added it.
Section 7, there it's good cars instead of good cares.
Cause. Yeah, good cause, yeah.
Yeah, so there's just a misspelling.
I had to talk to text a lot of this back because I couldn't get it to transfer to Word, but anyway.
In section 9, I wasn't sure if you wanted to specify that it was the Nicholas County Courthouse.
Yes, it is.
And have that before. In section 10, I didn't know if it needed to be in time and place, instead of in time and place, purpose.
Yes, that's
Going
correct.
over to section 13, time after the meeting's end shall include. I wasn't sure about that wording, if that needed to be edited.
Where's that?
Section 13.
And the
It's
issue.
the very last sentence, and shall be made available within reasonable time after meetings end shall include.
Oh, yeah, it's correct. And shall
Okay.
include, yes.
Sometimes, like you said, those legal terms of how some of those words.
That's true. That's true.
Under officers, section 1, it says that the president will oversee daily park operations, so I wasn't sure if that is correct.
That's the way it was before.
So
I didn't change it.
So, I mean,
But the reason why is, I mean, of course, we have our management, but when
Right.
daily things come up, it's the responsibility of the president.
okay, so I wasn't sure, yeah,
Take part.
so wording that made me think of that
Yeah.
you're sitting in the park office overseeing the
I'd love
daily.
to, but I got-
So that's why I wasn't sure on that wording on that one. Section 2, under vice president, towards the last of the last sentence, the treasurer shall present and assume the duties.
Yeah, so now it reads, the treasurer shall preside and assume the duties of the president.
Next page, under duties and powers of commission, section 5, place of commission meetings. The meetings of the commission shall be at the time employees sit by the commission. Don't know what that sentence
Yeah,
meant.
didn't either. So what I did is I made the place of commission meetings. The meetings of the commission shall be at the time and location each month, the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission office at Nicholas County Advantage Memorial Park, which obviously, kind of breaking that here tonight, but this is just an oddity, so.
Next page under employees, section 1, the commission by majority vote may employer or appoint. So I wasn't sure, I assume it means may employ.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yes.
that, just that.
Yeah, that's strictly.
Employer,
and
employee.
really what this comes down
employee.
to is just saying we're gonna work together. Well, no, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. The park commission, it's confusing when you're commission and county commission.
Yes.
Yeah, can employ and appoint, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah,
That's
it was
just
that
employing
it was-
our own employees as a
Yeah,
park.
if the wording should have been, it may employ and appoint, or may employer, I wasn't sure how that fell in terminology.
And I mean, we can strike or appoint.
I mean, if it makes sense to
Yeah.
other people, this is just. Section 2, this commission shall, with the commission, should the Nicholas County Commission regarding it, that sentence, I didn't make sense to me.
That should read, assist the park commission regarding employment.
Okay.
Administrator, so I can.
So, and that was the last of all of mine, other than into the, like, the excess papers that we'll go
Yes.
through with the ethics.
You read my mind exactly what I did. So, that being said, I mean, does everybody want time to look at this between now and the next meeting, or is there any objection to the edits that have been made? I mean, it's pretty straightforward stuff. And I appreciate Ms. Walker for looking after the interests of the county with a lot of these things. If that's acceptable with everybody, what I'd like to ask for is a motion to approve the revised bylaws of the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission as they were edited here tonight, with the additions and corrections, and then also the addition of the assistance of the Park Commission under the employee, the very last thing we talked about.
I'll make that motion. Motion, second.
You second? Okay, that motion is on the floor. Is there any further discussion?
Who seconded?
Shannon, Harry Chance. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those against? The motion does carry. I'll have to have you sign this as a secretary, but we'll get back to that. We'll still got a lot. Thank you. I think that was a good thing. Thank you. Back to Santa with James and Jennifer's discussions earlier. It'd be my request, pending no objection, that at least one advertisement publication, whatever we have to do, just be put in the paper to explain to people, hey, you know, the first, second, and third weekends of the month, we're going to have the rides, and then on December 4th, we'll have Santa from this time to this time, whatever.
And rides.
Yeah. And maybe even work with the park to kind of get something with an actual, like, picture of a Santa or something like that, to catch people's attention. But to see that event go successful. Okay. Yeah. So is there any objection to that? They're not very expensive, you know, a quarter page or something like that.
Right.
But just, you know, good so everybody knows to come use the facilities at the park. And it is November 18th, so we're kind of close on advertising anyway. We already talked about the electrical box.
Excuse me, point of order. Do we have to have a motion on that spending money for advertising, or does that fall under general expenses with our budgets?
I'll tell you what, let's do that. I agree with that. Would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I'll make a
All right.
motion that we spend
Thank you.
the suggested amount to do advertising for Santa in the park.
Okay. Thank you. So that motion is on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Underwood. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those against? The motion does carry, and thank you. We're going to add parliamentarian to the offices. I know who I'm going to want to appoint. But you are correct. That's good. And everything needs to be done, of course, in a proper way. Concerning the committees that we established earlier, Mr. Roberts left, but the employee committee, I'd like for them just to be on notice. Of course, myself, Ms. Kaufman, and Mr. Roberts, and I'll let him know to be, you know, on call as we'll do the interviews for the vacancy we currently have in the field crew. The poll committee, pending whatever you all need. I don't think you're ready to meet immediately.
No.
Anything immediate for the board. The rates committee,
On what?
on the whole, the fee schedule. What I'd like to recommend possibly there is just make sure we all get together and I can coordinate that as needed. Even if it's just right before, right after, like next meeting or something like that, to look over the rates and have an idea of at least the beginning of a proposal for the January meeting. So then that way, if anything's adjusted, there's plenty of time before, we start with the.
Got your old eight.
Yeah, it should be in your booklet. And if not, I'll have James get those ready and we'll.
18 is in the booklet, 19 is on the website. So we
Okay.
haven't updated on the website.
I believe 2019 was last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, so 2019, we're a few years behind. Not saying we have to raise or lower or whatever, but it wouldn't be a bad idea for us just to look at it and take a fresh perspective of. The ethics committee, again, just sometime get together, possibly just schedule the rates and the ethics before the December meeting. And then that way we just have some ideas before the January meeting of what we need to address with the documentation and the rates. That being said, it comes up to, we're still in new business. It would be my recommendation and request that we enter into an executive session pursuant to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4. I have no clue how I remembered that, but that's it. Concerning employee matters and financial matters of this park. We have a motion on that, I guess I'm good.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, you want a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so the motion is first and seconded. It'd also be my request before we vote that we retain in the room, of course, Sally, James, Mr. Chapman from the commission, Mr. Bell, and also Mr. Shields, and of course your kids can stay. That being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, motion does carry. We are in executive session at 7:44 p.m. Okay, it is 8:42 p.m. That being said, is there a motion to adjourn this executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Who wants it? Joey wants it. Okay.
Give it to Joey.
Joey seconded.
Yeah, second.
And a notation for the record, no decisions were made during executive session. That being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against? The motion does carry. Part of our previous discussion with the Little League renovations, they did request at their own expense for the girls' field, the softball field, I guess, to construct the press box that they gave in their presentation earlier. Again, this is not a financial request of this park board, and so it would be my request, if there is the intention, or a motion to approve their construction of that facility on the park.
I'll make that.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. Got a second? Any discussion or questions on that? What we can do is, what's been the past, whenever they want to build something, they just run the plan by you as management. I mean, I don't know the last time something's been built on this park.
It's been a long time, but I would say the board did.
Okay. So, yeah.
That was a motion to what?
To approve Little League of constructing the softball fields press box.
The way they made it, I understood it whenever I first started working here, was that anytime somebody's doing any sort of work here in the park, as long as they let the manager know that, when it's going on, that's really all that they need to do.
Got a motion on the floor, so we can't vote on it. Was there any objection to that interpretation? And of course, Sally, and James, and then in a few days, Sally, if you just keep us updated as that information does come in, just so that we can review it.
Sure can.
But then that way we don't have to wait till the next meeting. So that would be my preference.
And this is still under your business, correct?
We might want to have a plan drawn up to see what's going to look like before you give the final okay.
Okay. Do you want to amend your motion pending the approval of a draw up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is that okay? Is that what you're saying? And I mean, we can do that in our group. as long as you're okay making that motion, then, you know, we can approve, you know, we'll send it out email, text, whatever, and then once the board is approved, we're already ready for them to get started. So that being said, the motion on the floor is to approve Little League to construct a press box on the softball field at their own expense with their own material, with the notation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with the notation that a drawing be submitted to the park manager and then approved later on by the park board. Is that acceptable to you? Okay, just to clarify for the minutes and record. That being said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against? The motion does carry. What I'd like to do is, concerning these financial requests and others, approach the county commission in their next regularly scheduled meeting on behalf of the Little League, the 4-H, what we can, and also just a request of an earmark to the park for a serious facelift. Is there any objection to that? Okay, so that will be done December 1st. If anybody wants to join, whatever, I'll send out the group text what time it is. Of course, you know, we all have the same information here. That's what will be presented. Up next, we have the president's comments. We already discussed the committee meeting, just getting established here as things go forward. Up next, we have board comments. Is there any discussion from the board? Hearing none, up next is adjournment, but first, just for the record, the next meeting of the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission is December 16th at 6 p.m. We'll go ahead and say at the park board office.
And as long as they don't change last minute like
Right,
they did this.
right, and if you could give them notice, we're going to go ahead and schedule.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
that would hopefully alleviate that. That being said, is there anything else for the betterment of the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn this regularly scheduled meeting of the Nicholas County Parks and Recreation Commission on Thursday, November 18th of 2021 at 8:47 p.m.? Motion's on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against, the motion does carry. We stand adjourned.